Hi, Spots and Cheap Pops, here on the air.
Ladies and gentlemen, I Spots and Cheap Pops. This is Silicon Steve Valley with Vladi and we're talking at the very, very best of professional wrestling podcasting you're ever going to see. Yeah, we're literally better than every one of the other ones. Every one. Speaking of not smart, Tony Khan, did you do anything embarrassing on Twitter this week? No, I was just trying to talk about some of the great things that are happening in AEW and really the great matches we had lined up for Dynamite. Then somebody said something about Hook calling out Samoa Joe. I put a lot of thought into that. And he's had a 26-1 record, and he's only had one loss, and that loss was actually in a very weird situation. He had already wrestled once the night before, so it's kind of a weird thing. And then Jinder Mahal shows up out of nowhere, and it's like fucking goes. It's bullshit. Nobody cares. Jinder Mahal's a douchebag, and he's a child molester.
He just throws. Tony's at the point where he's just throwing unwarranted remarks about Jinder there now. Huh?
I don't give a shit. I have a lot more money than Jim Crockett does, and I'm not going to take this fucking shit. Tony Khan this week, Lottie.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I'm going to paraphrase. But look, we're a couple days after this was already dropped. We know what the tweet said. He basically disparaged Jinder Mahal. I guess there was some kind of internet reaction that Hook called out Samoa Joe. I didn't really, whatever. It's going to be from Samoa Joe's first defense. It's against a mid-carder. Yeah. Everyone freaks the fuck out about every little thing these days. So everyone freaks out about that. And
that's a good experience for Hook. I didn't understand what that. Yeah, let Hook go and wrestle him. I get it. Let him job. It's all good.
And why would you care to, Tony? Stop listening to these douchebag idiots on the internet. So I guess he took exception to it because a lot of people probably saying that about Hook were probably what the AEW sycophants, the tribalists on the AEW side, call E-drones. Oh. So Tony probably thought they were E-drones. So he wanted to call out their hypocrisy because Jinder Mahal, after essentially doing the JOB to The Rock the week before, in some lieu of payback, he's a hard worker, a good guy behind the scenes, one of the worst champions in history. But they're like, okay, we're going to give him a title match on a Monday Night Raw against Seth Rollins. Again, not a big deal, not even a big deal. Let this mid-carder, and he's a mid-carder now. I thought he was facing the Royal Rumble. That would have pissed me off. Right. You're going to make me watch this shit? I'm sorry, I don't like Jinder Mahal. But Tony Khan says, whoa, everyone's making fun of Hook. What about Jinder Mahal? He hasn't won a match since 2022 when he won over, and he probably gave a specific match because he knows everything like he's Brain Man.
Right.
Like I do, which is kind of silly. So I'm making fun of him for doing the same thing. But he basically just disparages Jinder Mahal, and he is complaining that people are critiquing his product, and Lottie, he gets into it with all these different people. Eric Bischoff is going to have a lot more clicks this week because guess who took the bait?
Yep.
Bischoff calling him a clown. A lot of people using the emoji clown for Tony Khan right now. This wasn't even the worst one he's ever done. This is the second worst one. I think the worst one was when they got beat by NXT. But Vladi Dottie, I think now it's long enough. We're 5 years in. The last 3 years, we have seen an unhinged, irresponsible, immature, unreliable, inconsistent man in the owner of AEW, and that is Tony Khan. The way he has carried himself on Twitter, the way he's carried himself in post-media scrums, and even in his ineffectiveness on how he's handled all the backstage drama. Tony Khan, similar to the Young Bucks, love you, grateful for you for starting this company. Thank you. You've made the business a better place to be, no doubt. But you're fucking up. And you need to sit out a couple plays. Please put someone sane and professional in charge at the moment because, Tony, you are killing yourself. You're killing your team. You're killing your wrestlers. You're killing everybody who's trying to make AEW work in this dark storm that you have been navigating through like you're Ray Charles. And I mean dead Ray Charles, not even the one who's just blind. Tony, you need to understand that. When you do these things, you take the attention away from the product on the television. Ho-ass tweets. Let me tell you something. Samoa Joe was referring to wrestlers in his promo, but the ho-ass tweets is directly to Tony Khan as well. Because what's everybody talking about AEW this week? What's everyone talking about? Tony Khan's tweeting. Tony Khan sucks at tweeting. Oh, what about this great Samoa Joe promo that's coming out? Or what about this match with Sammy? What about the stuff that's happening inside the ring and on the television screen? No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Tony Khan. Once again, your product is not the main story. Again, and that's been the same goddamn thing. And CM Punk isn't there anymore to blame. This is on you, Tony. And now, maybe every time something like this happens, you understand why CM Punk was so frustrated. And you're starting to understand, well, maybe if you were a person who looked at this thing fairly, maybe CM Punk isn't quite as bad as I thought. Yeah, CM Punk still was a douchebag at certain moments. I'm always going to be holding him accountable for that. But Jesus Christ, dude. This is kind of like he was in the mad real world. If you remember when the white guy was in the old Chappelle show, in the house of all the black people, like the real world, but it was the mad real world. CM Punk probably felt like that. Like, I'm the only sane person here. That's a bad fucking example. Everything I'm saying, right? But CM Punk's by looking around and seeing this owner act like this, and CM Punk probably didn't care because CM Punk probably could manipulate Tony Khan as good as anybody.
Yep.
But when he acts like this, he's no longer the tough, awesome underdog who's trying to take on the big company. He's the spoiled little billionaire brat Mark who doesn't know how to run a wrestling company.
Yeah.
You've made Jinder Mahal a sympathetic figure. How in the flying fuck do you do that, for Christ's sake? Lottie Dottie, how is Jinder Mahal having a movement on Twitter? Don't hinder Jinder. What is that bullshit? Jinder Mahal is the worst world champion in the modern era. It was 6 months of darkness. Thank God AJ Styles came to the rescue and he fought Brock Lesnar at the Survivor Series and not Jinder Mahal. Because no one would have given a fuck. And Mahal couldn't take the German suplexes right. So that's the big thing. He's hurting his own company, and he's hurting his own brand, his own reputation. It just continues to sink AEW, looking like a jerk-off indie promotion that it may wind up turning out to be.
That's the way it's looking. You're absolutely right. It's just nuts that, that this is becoming a topic of conversation on a Tuesday night. And, you sense and feel the feeding frenzy online. And I feel like Tony just feeds into it. He's like, okay, look at, like, I wish at these moments his father, Shad Khan, would just turn off the phone on him.
Tony, it's your father, Shad. I need to talk to you.
Hey, Dad, how you doing?
Who are you calling a bald asshole? Like, is that what you do in the wrestling industry? I've never called the competitor a bald asshole.
Well, no, Dad, you don't understand. It's a funny meme. It's the internet wrestling community.
The what?
It's the internet wrestling community. They're really good guys. A lot of them like me, but the people that don't like me, they're e-drones, and they hate me no matter what, and they think we suck, and they're racist.
Okay, you can play this game for another couple of years, but you keep on losing $30 million every year, we're going to have to talk.
Okay, Dad, thanks.
No problem.
One more thing. Have you thought about Mercedes Moné?
Not worth the money.
How about if I mow the lawn?
Okay, little whippersnapper, go ahead.
Actual audio we've gotten from Shad Khan and Tony Khan.
It's a nice little look into their lives.
I feel like I love doing that. That was nice. I hope that's a funny bit. Thank you so much for watching High Spots and Cheap Pops. For Vladi Dottie, this is Silicon Steve Alley. Hit the subscribe button and let us know what you think. Thank you for watching, and here endeth the lesson.